The students of all academies began fighting to protect the people. Ashbin, Glinda organized the defense. I'll head for the vault. When it seems that the huntsmen we're winning, the Atlassian knights and paladins begin turning on them, cutting down a few civilians and students into their betrayal.
Glinda, James, what's the meaning of this?
Ironwood, I don't know. Someone had locked me out from communication with the fleet. The Atlassian warships began shooting at each other.
John, fuck this.
Pyrrha, stay with the team. I'm heading for Beacon. There might be more students in need of extra muscle. Pyrrha, but...
John, no buts except for the ones I'm about to kick.
Ruby, well, join you, John.
John, out of the question.
Jan, no way, we're leaving you to fend for yourself.
John, Nanata.
Blake, John the White Fang is attacking the academy. We need to stop them too.
Jaune.
Weiss, you're outvoted.
John, Pyrrha, stay with the professors and make sure everyone here is safe.
Pyrrha reluctantly nods. Team RWBY and John made their way back to campus, killing some Grim, crippling some White Fang, and scrapping some droids along the way.
Beacon entrance.
John, Ruby, you assist in the evacuation and keep this place from being overwhelmed.
Where are the rest of your team?
Ruby, we split up to help some separated students. Can you find them?
John, alright, I'll direct them back to you.
He then searched the ruins of the academy and he heard a familiar scream. He found his way to the mess hall and saw Blake on the ground, stabbed with a sword, and he looked to its wielder as he began seeing red. It was Adam Taurus. Then before he could even strike him head-geared, another yell. Yang lunged at Adam, who in turn assumed a stance and severed Yang's arm. Now that was the last straw. He then moved to block Adam before he could finish Yang off.
Blake, John. John, Blake, get to Yang now, I'll deal with this beast.
John was now face to face with his persecutor. Adam, another human?
No, those eyes. You and I have the same eyes. John, don't you dare compare me to you.
Adam then took off his mask and shocked John. It was the brand of the SDC.
John, I don't pity him. I will not forgive him. I don't feel sorry for him.
Adam, judging by the disgust in your face, you know what this feels like. Well, you should, since I robbed you of your faunus traits, Fox. John glares at him with all the malice and contempt he can muster.
John, you have no right.
Adam, and the humans do?
I'm not their only victim.
And you dare side with them?
John, I am on no one's side because no one is on my side.
Adam, I see now why you stand with humans, you filthy half-breed.
Blake's eyes widen.
John, I promise to never kill anymore, but with you I'll make an exception.
Adam, then let's settle this.
The two stared at each other for a few moments, trying to find an opening. Then they both charge at the same time. The two clashed as they swung and blocked each other with a speed that could rival the best huntsman in this world. Adam went to sweep Jaune's legs as Jaune jumped and shaped his aura into his greaves and gave a powerful kick on Adam's chin, forcing him to back off. Jaune then recalled his aura and went in for a horizontal slash as Adam got on his and slides the swing. He then spun and went for a diagonal slash on Jaune's back. But Jaune twisted his arm behind him and blocked the strike. Jaune turned and twirled crimson to create a wall of fire to make breathing room. He then drew azure as it now crackled with intense lightning. Jaune proceeded with his assault of a cyclone of fire and lightning. Adam was scowling that Jaune was more using the elements to strike him rather than bashing his swords against his, preventing Adam from collecting the kinetic force for his moon slice. Jaune was basically matching him in swordsman skill, but one thing Jaune has over Adam is he has magic. By charging his sword with the right amount of lightning and fire that it won't overwhelm one another, reaching new heights of heat what no one can see. Jaune was using his magic to produce water alongside the lightning before mixing it with the fire. He was making red got plasma. Adam, not realizing what his opponent was doing, opted to bull rush him. Jaune went low out of Adam's range of motion and swung upward, aimed at his head, but Adam reacted good enough to deflect the strike, but shock was evidently on his face as he gazed down at his sword cut in half as the wilt was melted off. Jaune then took his argenty on his free hand and chit at Adam's kneecaps, the force strong enough to break his leg but not break his aura. He then grabbed him by the collar as he flipped him over his shoulder and slams him on the ground, letting go of wilt. Jaune then stomped in his chest hard enough to crack a few ribs. "Jaune, it's over. Now die." As he winds up crimson for a downward slash aimed at his head, but "Blake, Jaune, please, don't be like him." Jaune looked at Blake confused. "Blake, please do the right thing and arrest him. Don't stain your hands with his blood. You're only proving him right, that you despise his kind for what he has done to you. Please don't be like him, because that's what he does." Jaune looks at Adam, and he was replaced by a younger version of himself with the same hatred and contempt in his eyes. Jaune shook his head and looked at Blake. Blake wanted Jaune to become something more, a hero. Killing is always the easy oath to solve a problem. And only psychopaths pick that solution. Jaune can simply disarm him without killing him. It will prove that Jaune was a bigger man than Adam could hope to be. But they did not see that Adam was able to grab the upper half of the melted wilt. "Jaune, what? After all he's done, the lives lost in this attack?" "Blake, I know, I want him dead too. But not at the cost of your soul. You're a good person, Jaune, you made me see that." Then Adam made his move and stabbed Jaune in the gut, piercing his already weakened aura. Blake gasped as she saw Jaune bleeding. "Adam, fool, only the strong can shape the world to his will, **. You see, Blake, I will take away everything and everyone you have ever loved. Your friends and your family. He then limps away as Blake took Gamble's shroud as she tries to shoot him. Adam used the rubble of the academy as cover as he makes his escape. Blake then runs toward Jaune in tears. Blake, Jaune. I'm so sorry, Asho. Jaune, no, you were right. As he grunts. He then used his magic to create a strong flame as he cauterized his wounds. Jaune, I'll be okay. Let's get you some help. Blake nods and they both help Young up and head for the evacuation zone. They were met with Team SSSN, CFVY and CRDL. Carden, it's Branwen. He then rushed along with his team and picked up Young and took her to the medics. Sun saw Blake holding her side and went to help. Jaune, Carden, where's Ruby? Carden, she and her partner joined Ashbin in getting to the tower. He said something was there of grave importance. Jaune, damn him. Carden, who's in charge here? Carden, Coco from Team CFVY, they're the only senior team available. Jaune, tell them to leave a dropship for the rest of Team RWBY, Ashbin, and a couple more people. Carden, gotcha. And Branwen. Jaune looks back at him. Carden, don't go being a twat now. Jaune smiled at him. Jaune, I won't give you the satisfaction. Carden nods as he smirks. After their battle, Carden spoke with Jaune after realizing his faults. Surprisingly, he was a decent guy. After Carden apologized and reconciled with Velvet, he revealed why he hated Faunus. He had a little sister who was killed in one of the bombings that the White Fang did. After that, Carden was never the same. He hated all Faunus. But getting to know Jaune made him realize that not all of them were bad. Jaune makes his way to the tower and found Ruby and Weiss near the entrance of the tower holding of Grimm. Jaune, where's Ashbin? Weiss, he's inside trying to get something important. Jaune, alright, but first. He used his semblance and amplified Ruby and Weiss' aura. Ruby, woo. I feel like I ate a ton of cookies. Weiss, what in the world is this? As she summoned a human-sized knight. Jaune, hold the line, I'll help the headmaster get out. It's not something, it's someone. Weiss, wait, your aura is low. Jaune, doesn't matter. If the bad guy gets what they want, it's gonna be hell for all of us. He makes a mad dash for the elevator. The elevator reaches the vault. Jaune saw that Ashbin is trying to input commands on a console. Jaune au pain. We need to get her out of here now. Ashbin, I'm almost done. Then an arrow flew past them and hits Amber. Jaune, no. Jaune then rushed the container and used his strength to rip off the door. Amber then falls in his arms, slowly opening her eyes. Amber, Jaune? Jaune was crying. Jaune, it's me, I'm here. Amber was now crying too. Amber, I'm glad I met you. You were my very first friend. Jaune, just hold on, we can. Amber, I'm sorry. I'm tired, so tired. We just keep saying goodbye. Please move on, Jaune. Don't stay in the past. Don't look back. I always loved you. She then closes her eyes. Jaune just hugs her tight one last time. Ashpin lowered his head, then looked at the source of the arrow. Then he drew his cane and took a stance. Cinder's eyes glowed. Cinder, so this is what true power feels like. Ashpin was about to strike, but he was stopped by a hand on his shoulder. It was Jaune with his hair shadowing his eyes. Cinder, you don't want Ashpin to kill me? Jaune, no, I'll do it myself. Then he released all his aura and magic combined and activates his semblance. He was then enveloped by a shroud of burning aura as his eyes slowly turned red. Jaune, you will wish you were dead.